Yeah.
Okay, I don't have a gavel. The March 14th meeting of the Greenwich Township Land Use Board is called to order. This is a regular meeting of the Land Use Board of the Greenwich Township of Greenwich, and I've noticed that this meeting has been given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, and that a notice was published in the Express Times and the Star Ledger newspapers. Notice was posted on the municipal bulletin board in the Township Administration Building in Greenwich Township, New Jersey, and a notice was filed with the Township Clerk. If you're wondering why I'm reading this, as you know, Amy had her baby. Lisa was supposed to handle this, but Lisa came down with the flu, so.
So you're doing everything.
Secretary.
Yes, there is.
Wearing many hats. Very good. Very man for the job.
So we're gonna go real slow.
No.
Okay, roll call. Bruce Williams, here. Mark Scuderi.
Here.
Gary Hill.
He has to be excused or not.
See, that's the thing. I have no
Oh, we don't
idea.
know.
So
So
I knew that he was gonna not make it, so I'm sure he has somebody about it being.
I guess what I'd say is. You want to do, okay, so,
Wait for the end, but I think because the normal board secretary is not here, why don't you presume that anyone not here has to be excused?
okay, Joe Piami,
Here.
Kathy Cullen,
Here.
Jeremy Blunt,
Here.
Ryan Baylor. Not here.
Not here.
Joe Chitillo,
Here.
Paul Beam,
Here,
Andrea Sherlaw,
Here.
George Bradlaugh,
Here.
Dana Parker,
Not here.
he's not here, Bob Graham. Here. So, so we'll assume that there's an excuse because we don't know if they've talked to anybody, so I need a motion to excuse Gary Hill, Brian Baylor, and Dana Parker.
I'll make a motion to excuse.
Second, oh, I gotta get
Yeah,
this.
you gotta write it down. Yeah.
Put JB.
Yeah, right?
Yep.
Okay. Roll call, right?
Yep.
Bruce Williams, yes. Joe Fiami,
Yes.
Mark Scuderi,
Yes.
Gary Hill. They're not here. Kathy Cullen,
Yes.
Jeremy Blunt,
Yes.
Joe Chichillo,
Yes.
Paul Bean,
yes,
Andrea Sherlaw,
Yes.
George Bradlaugh,
Yes.
Dana Parker. Yeah, not here, yeah. Bob Graham.
Yes.
Next order of business is approval of the January 11th meeting minutes. It's a reorg meeting. Oh, yeah. We all rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Meeting minutes, January 11th. Any comments or corrections? Yeah. The only one absent was Kathy. So, can I have a motion to approve the minutes as written? So Mark Scuderi, second,
I'll second.
Andrea. Bruce Williams, yes. Joe Fiami.
Yes.
Kathy was not here.
Kathy's abstaining.
Kathy's abstaining. Jeremy Blunt,
Yes.
Joe Chichillo.
Yeah.
Paul Bean,
yes,
Andrea Sherlaw,
Yes.
George Bradlaugh.
Yes.
Let's see, Dana was here, so Dana, well, she can't, she's not here now.
Right.
Okay, Bob Grant.
Yes.
All right. Now, our next order of business is the application LUB, should this be 23 or is it
It was filed in 23.
23? Okay, so 2023-04. Now, for this application, this involves a D3 variance. Our class 1 and class 3 members cannot participate. That's Paul and Brian. Brian's not here, so you can sit in the room, but
Yeah,
you can't participate.
You should move into the public section and away from the board section of the room.
You got it.
Yeah, this is the applicant here and ready to go.
Thank you.
So you can use the podium, just so you know that microphone doesn't do anything. So it's the rest of the room
See
that,
the microphones in the ceiling over here?
yeah.
If you just look right over here.
If you talk, we'll hear you.
Yeah, if you talk towards the chairman, that mic will pick you up.
Well, this gives me a place to hide, so I'm gonna stay right here.
That's fine.
Anyway, my name is Alan Loker. I'm a lawyer in Washington, New Jersey. I represent 1500 West Avenue LLC. That's the applicant. The first thing I want to do is we did receive an email from board counsel that Mr. Finelli's office had deemed the application complete. I just wanted that stated for the record, if so we're clear on that.
Right, the application has been deemed complete by Mr. Finelli's office, and the board has delegated to Mr. Finelli's office completeness determinations.
All right, thank you. And then I'm going to ask the board chairman and the board attorney to confirm that the applicant is given proper notice.
Right, so I reviewed the form of the notice, and it's acceptable, and the certifieds were also reviewed by the township / board staff, and they're in order, so in my opinion, the board has procedural jurisdiction to hear the application. You so rule?
I do.
Thank you. We have a few witnesses, so I would like them sworn at this time.
Yep. Can you have all your witnesses come into the front row so we can see them? And we're also gonna have everyone stand up. We're gonna have the board's two witnesses, the board engineering expert and the board planning expert, also get them sworn. So can everyone raise your right hands? And do you swear or affirm the testimony you're gonna give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? Start over here.
I do.
I do.
I do. I do.
I do.
Then back to over here, can you please spell your first and last name and give us the relationship to the applicant or the board as the case may be?
Yes, my first name is Nirav.
Lot louder.
Nirav, Nirav. Last name is Mehta, Mehta. I'm the applicant, principal in the 1500 West.
Okay, so if the applicant is 1500 West Avenue LLC, are you the managing member of the LLC?
Managing is my wife. I'm a man.
Okay, what's his position with the LLC?
I'm a CEO.
Okay, next.
Ephraim Gobriel, that's Efram, last name Gobriel, Ghobrial. I'm the
Give me that
architect.
last name slowly again, GHO.
Ghob as in boy, Rial as in Larry. I'm the architect.
If you're the applicant's architectural expert, correct?
What was the first name again? I'm sorry.
Ephraim,
Ephraim.
EFRAM, correct?
Correct.
I got that one.
Great.
Hold on.
Wonderful.
Next.
Yes, hi, Mark with a C. Lieber, L-E-B, like Brian, E-R. And I'm a site engineer.
Okay, so you're a PE
I am,
and you're the applicant's site civil engineering expert.
yes.
All right, hold on. You're also gonna have to talk louder, you're also gonna have to talk louder when you're testifying.
Okay,
I'm John with an H.
Versus
McDonough.
John without an H. I like, yeah, okay.
McDonough.
You're the applicant's planning expert.
Yes, I am.
He speaks loud enough. Mike,
Mike Finelli, PE Board Engineering Expert.
and Kendra.
Kendra Lely, board planner.
Okay. You're all set to go. Everyone's been sworn.
Thank you.
may I approach the bench?
Yeah.
Technical question?
Yep. Excuse me, guys, I'm sorry, This is the office for legal advice, right? You're gonna face me, but I can't read your lips.
We could play.
Yes, if you want. Yeah, okay, so, to play it safe, and I'm very conservative when it comes to these things, out of an abundance of caution, he's gonna recuse himself. He doesn't have to explain why, but he's gonna explain why.
Well, very simply, I've not met Mr. Welker before, but I'm a representative of a Presbyterian Church Commission working on property in Oxford. And it represents a possibility of my responsibilities there and my responsibility here to create a
So,
conflict
so
of
there's no
interest.
appearance
So,
of a conflict. All right,
This is what happens when you've been around for 40 years.
but the good news is, if you look around the room, you still have 8 of you. And 7 will be participating, which means alternate number 4, unless someone else bites the dust. You can't vote, but whereas Paul cannot participate, he can't say anything, he can't ask any questions, he can listen. You can ask questions, you can actually, when it comes to deliberations, you can give everyone your views, you just can't vote. Because you're not recused and you can participate but not vote. Recusals, nothing. No questions, no comments, no nothing. Okay,
We have 6 voting members.
no, you have 7.
7. Okay, good. Yeah, that's fine. Okay,
You have 6 regular members and our first alternate.
gotcha. All right, brief overview of what this application is for. It's seeking preliminary and final site plan approval, conditional use approval, and I'll hit that very simply in a few minutes. Bulk variance approval in order to construct a fast food restaurant with a drive-through on the property, right off Old 22, and West Avenue, New Brunswick and West Avenues. Currently improved by an antiques building and a single-family dwelling. Those buildings are proposed to be torn down for purposes of construction of the proposed fast food restaurant with a drive-through, which is a conditional permitted use in the D2 zone. And we wouldn't be here for all of the relief that we're asking if we met all of the conditions of the use.
You'd be here, but as a planning board, rather than here as a board of adjustment.
That's correct. And mainly the thing is, we're freestanding, not part of a developed shopping center, such as the one that's immediately behind the car wash that has 4 or 5 different retail shops there. If we were in there, it would be site plan approval and whatever before the planning board, but we're here for the relief that we need. And the board planner has done an amazing job laying everything out in terms of the relief that we need. So I'm not going to belabor that anymore. Mr. Finelli's office has asked all the right questions as he usually does. So I won't belabor that point either. Instead, what I'm going to do is ask our site engineer to come forward and provide his testimony. And he will focus on the proposed site plan and address professional questions in their reports as necessary. Mark, you should be qualified first.
Right, but so step up,
Why don't you step over here and
yeah,
give you a place to put your papers? So Mark, if you would give us your professional education and your professional involvement as a professional engineer in the state of New Jersey.
Hi, good evening. First time here in the township. I graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in Civil Engineering from Drexel University. Following school, I went back part-time at night and completed the MBA program at Rutgers Graduate School. I was licensed in 2003 as an engineer, in 2005 as a planner. 2006, I was able to complete the Certified Municipal Engineering Certificate program. I've been qualified as expert witness, over 100 boards, but also in municipal court and also Superior Court.
And you're asking him to be qualified as a civil engineering expert tonight, correct?
That is correct.
Worked on many projects similar to the one we're about to discuss tonight. And I worked throughout most of New Jersey.
There are no questions from the board, or the public?
Any questions on his qualifications? No questions. You accept him as an
Okay,
expert?
I accept, the board accepts him as an expert.
Thank you. So I'm gonna just present an overview of what's proposed, go through some of the technical items, and then if there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Just a little background here. This is block 37. It's also known as lot 1, which is 1500 West Avenue. It's a 0.72 acre property. It is irregularly shaped. It has some unique frontage here. It's also in your B2 zone, which is a highway business zone. In addition to having frontage on West Avenue, which is a dead end street, there's also frontage on Route 22, but there's no access off the highway. You heard a moment ago, it's occupied by an antique shop. There's also a residential dwelling on the property, and then surrounding us, immediately to the north, you have the car wash. Beyond that, you have Target, Big Lots Shopping Center, there's a Ross Dress in there. If you go a little to the northwest, you have Home Depot. The proposal here is really to demolish the improvements on the property.
Is that just the buildings or everything?
Everything, the buildings, any septics that are on the property, fencing, asphalt, whatever's out there today is gonna be removed. And in order to remove everything, you know, we'll submit proper permits to close both wells and septics, and in addition, to get building permits to demolish the structure. Now, we did submit a set of plans, which was last revised November 18th of 2023, and if you look at sheet 3 of those plans, it shows more or less the site layout that's proposed. It's a freestanding Wendy's restaurant. It does have a drive-through. The building is about 2,115 square feet. There is a indoor seating capacity of 18, and there's also an outdoor seating use patio that comes 18 seats as well. So together, the total seating is 36. The access from the property is only off of West Avenue. If you look at the plan sheet, there's actually 3 different driveways. The one on the left, which is at the terminus of the street, is an entrance only. And from that entrance, you have an option to turn into the parking lot, or you can continue straight to the drive-through side. There are 2 other driveways. Those are both exit driveways. One exits from the parking lot, and again, that's one way. And the other driveway, which is in the far right of the plan, exits the drive-through queue. There's 20 parking spaces on the property, and some of those spaces are reserved for both mobile order pickup, or delivery pickup, for example, Uber Eats, and there's an employee parking space as well. This restaurant would operate every day. It would open at 7 a.m., starting with breakfast, and it would close 11 o'clock at night in the dining room. However, the drive-through would remain open till 2:30 a.m. There are 2.5 shifts during the day here, and the maximum number of employees on each shift is 6 employees.
The drive-through opens also at 7?
Correct. There would be a brand new water connection to this building, which we're able to secure off of West Avenue. There's a water main and an easement, which provide our connection point. Unfortunately, there's no public sewer in this area. We looked into that extensively. So this restaurant will be operating on a septic system, which is designed by a gentleman, Ted Bayer. I don't know if that name's familiar to you, but he had done testing on the property to determine the adequacy of a individual septic disposal field, and it determined that it was appropriate for that use. Other ancillary improvements that you'll notice in the property include trash area for the collection of refuse. We have all new landscaping proposed that's shown on sheet 5 of the plans. We also provided a lighting layout, which is all LED fixtures, and sheet 6 of the drawings.
Just a quickie, did you give the date of the plans that you're looking at? I want to make sure the board has the same date. We have November 16, 2023. Those are the ones issued for completeness. Is that what you're looking at?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, Mark, I was gonna mention that. He mentioned November 18th,
Yeah,
and it's the 16th.
it's the 16th, right?
Yeah,
16th.
16th.
Okay. You said 18.
Yeah, it's one out.
Yeah, it's close. It's better that it's your eyes than your brain.
Good point. So, you know, ancillary items with the landscaping, the lighting, you know, it's a mixture of all deciduous trees and evergreen trees. You know, the site has really good visibility from Route 22, so we don't want to block the site, so to say, but the way you get in here would be to turn at the signal up New Brunswick Avenue, and then you just follow it around to West Avenue versus going straight if you're going to Target. There were some questions about what the impact would be as far as traffic. We did look into that. We actually had submitted a trip generation report that was dated July 5th of 2023. And what that report quantified is the number of trips in and out of this facility during peak hours, which includes weekday and weekend. Now, that report was put together using something known as the ITE trip generation manual, which is a standard document that governs this type of a calculation, and we had used the 10th edition. In fact, there is an 11th edition out there. The numbers in the 11th edition are actually slightly lower than what we had submitted. But just for the record, for example, during the week in an AM peak, which is the hours of 7 to 9 AM, we calculate that there would be approximately 55 trips in and out of this property.
That's the chart on the last page of that report.
It is.
If, when you're doing this, just refer, just like you're referring to the sheets on the plan, refer to where in the document you're talking about.
Okay.
So everyone can follow you.
Is this marked in the exhibit?
Anything that's submitted in the file is in the file. It's only if you present something that's not in the file that we would mark it as an exhibit.
Okay, so
So this report, like you said, is dated July 5, 2023, prepared by East Point Engineering.
it is. Now, again, on the same chart, page 5, we have in the PM peak, which is the hours of 4 PM to 6 PM. That it's anticipated to add 56 trips in or 53 trips out. And on a weekend peak, similar figures, 59 trips in, 58 trips out.
Could you just do us a favor?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't say what times. When the AM peak is defined as when,
7 to 9 AM,
and the PM peak is defined as when.
4 to 6 PM.
Weekend peak,
Weekend peak, I think is 9 to 11. I have to check that down.
you check that before we write that down.
Yeah. We'll have to get back to you in a few minutes on that.
Okay. All right, keep on going.
Now, this type of use generates 2 types of traffic. The first is pass-by traffic. What that means is vehicles that are already on the road, coming down, you know, for example, Route 22, say, oh, you know, I want to get something to eat. I'm already on the road, I'm already traveling the highway, I'm just gonna turn in here, get something to eat, and go back out onto the highway and continue to my destination. That's pass-by traffic. The other type of traffic would be new traffic, which is people that are specifically getting into their car because they want to go to Wendy's. Now, there are technical manuals that discuss historically how much traffic from this type of a restaurant would be pass-by traffic versus how much is new traffic. And the data published by the IT, which is the Institute for Transportation Engineers, is that 55% of the traffic is considered pass-by traffic. The rest of it is, you know, new traffic. So if you look at the numbers here, which, you know, take a weekday A and peak 55 cars, A little more than half of that is passed by, so you're talking like in the high twenties. Represents vehicles that are already on the road that are just turning in there. And what that really means is that this is not a significant traffic generator. In fact, if you were to look at, NJDOT guidelines, which, they govern access in and out of state highways. They have determined that a increase in the peak hour trips of 100 vehicles or less does not remarkably change the level of service on the surrounding road network and is not likely to cause any sort of detriment. What really makes this site excellent is the fact that once you're on West Avenue, that's a dead end road. So, the trips that are going down West Avenue are not impacting other traffic in the background. They're not changing the queues at traffic lights and things like that in the area that you normally hear about. The other thing is this use is very complementary with our car wash neighbor. And it's possible that some of those trips might be people that are actually at the car wash that just want to come here and get something to eat, or vice versa. Someone in the Wendy's goes across the street to the car wash. And although there's no like scientific study of how to determine that, I suspect that there will be a few of those trips in that scenario. So in summary, there's not going to be any appreciable change to this roadway system in the area. Obviously, the major traffic generator on this block is the shopping center that's behind us, and the other shopping center to the northwest. So we're, kind of like almost like a pad site, so to say, to people's destination at Target and the other big stores. So I don't see any detriment here. In fact, the location is really perfect for the type of use. Now, any questions at this point?
Well, technically, when you're talking about pass-by traffic, if you're talking about West End Avenue, the only pass-by traffic that's gonna be there is somebody going to the car wash, right?
The pass-by traffic's really on the state highway. Because the visibility to this property is from 22. So, if you're heading on 22 and you see the building on the right, you just turn at the light and you go in there, and then when you exit, you're gonna make a right turn at the light to go back on the highway. That would be a pass-by.
So you're saying it's as if the facility was on 22 rather than on West End Avenue.
Yeah, I mean, West End Avenue is not like a collector road, so to say. So there is no traffic on West End. I mean, whoever's leaving the car wash is it.
Yeah, well, there's no end in West Avenue.
Oh, you're West End.
It's West Avenue.
Okay, that's a good point.
And
Well, no, I listened to it like 4 times in a row, so. So I'm trying
okay,
to-
let me address a question about the exit there.
Yeah.
So, because basically, my understanding of that road, you can't turn left out of there. So that traffic, if they're not familiar with the area, has to go up by the Target, then figure out how they get turned around. The other concern or second question I would have then, I'm assuming these studies didn't take into effect that we have the affordable housing, that the entrance to that area is also, if I'm not mistaken, going to be on that road further up. So you have that other traffic that's not in that area today.
Why don't you start by asking the witness, and then you can go to Mike after, give the witness the first crack at the 2 questions. The 2 questions were, are you aware of how a car would exit? And are you aware of the affordable housing project that's been approved and that's under construction? And what impact, if any, would that have on it? And then after you answer, we'll see what Mike thinks.
Where's the affordable housing project?
Behind Lowe's.
Yeah,
And what road are they?
Mike, why don't you
sort of
start
the
that?
corner of Greenwich and Dumont. So basically, you're exiting the Wendy's. You take the little jug handle. Okay, I see. Got it?
Yeah,
Okay,
just give me a map here.
yeah, that project's presently under construction. It's literally right up the road from here. And there's, 66. It's 66 future affordable housing units. Now, I don't, to be honest with you, I don't that's gonna be a lot of destination traffic, because I can assume that, that's nothing to do with being affordable. That people that live in that close will drive to Wendy's to get a burger. I think the bigger
Or
issue,
chicken.
well, I'm a beef guy, so. The bigger issue is the exiting move.
Yeah,
That is problematic, because when you are exiting the car wash or the future Wendy's, and you take the jug handle, as I call it, which is an exaggeration, of course, and you get to the stop sign at, New Brunswick Avenue,
yes,
the extension of Dumont Road. There is no left turn.
correct.
Okay, so everybody's gotta make a right. So there's two issues there. A lot of people presently make a left, as they shouldn't. And B, if they abide by the signage and make a right, it puts them into the shopping center, into the parking area for Greenwich Center, the shopping center.
Right.
And there are U-turns all over the place. You get back out to the light at 22 and 120. So that to me is, you know, the only real use right now is from the car wash. And if you're there on a weekend, let's say, on a nice, sunny Saturday, and you wanna get your car washed, there's a queue at that stop sign. This is clearly gonna exacerbate that, move.
When you say queue at the stop sign, you're not talking about the stop sign in New Brunswick, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry, at the stop sign, that road doesn't have a name, it's like, the ramp, if you will.
Yeah.
From New Brunswick Extension or Dumont Extension to West Avenue. That's
It
the,
goes behind the
that's-
car wash.
yeah,
And then to exit the car wash where they would have people.
When you
coming into
exit the car
Wendy's,
wash, you have to turn
people
right.
Leaving the car, right?
And the best way is to follow New Brunswick all the way back around to Greenwich Street and then come out there.
Yeah.
But a lot of people will go
Do that.
through,
Yeah, they don't do that.
turn around in the parking lots and do it that way.
I thought that the approval for the car wash had a lamb chop.
Yeah, it does.
But people just drive over the lamb
Yep.
chop.
No,
Only
they're
go around it.
supposed to go right, but
Go
lots of
around
people
it.
Gonna
do.
go around,
yeah.
look back.
Yeah.
You can go around it.
So-
Traffic's filled by the corner.
That's a, that's a movement that's gonna prove problematic. Because I can certainly see a bunch of cars queuing up at that stop sign. That, either
you're
are making,
suggesting-
are ready to make an illegal left or just can't get out.
So you're suggesting that you're gonna have to have someone look at that?
You're right, I mean, the best option, we went through this with the car wash, so I don't know if it's even an option. Is to try to redesign that intersection to allow for a left. Now, that opens up a can of worms, and we're not gonna get into that tonight. But that's everybody that gets there, including me. Wants to make that left, because it's, you know,
long ways
it's,
around.
yeah, it's the movement you wanna make. But I'm a law-abiding citizen and I make it right. And then I'm in the middle of the parking lot.
Was that
I said,
island there,
excuse me?
was that island there as part of the car wash?
Yep.
Or that was something else?
No, for the car wash.
Because before the car wash, there was no traffic there.
And just, I thought legally, just to make it clear. Eventually, they're gonna talk about a bunch of C variances.
Yeah.
A lot of the C variances, they're gonna tell you are needed because the lot's so small. So whatever they had there, whatever they wanted to do there, the lot's so small. Okay, so that's, in my opinion, that's separate from the D3 variance. This traffic issue, which I was not aware of before it was just brought up, this is part of that D3 variance, because if they complied with the ordinance conditional use standard, if they were part of a shopping center, they wouldn't have this traffic issue. That's probably one of the reasons that the ordinance wanted to have restaurants with drive-throughs as part of a shopping center, so you wouldn't have to deal with issues like this. So this one is gonna be part of the D3 variance, and it might very well be, you know, we'll keep on going, but it might very well be there's gonna come a point and they're gonna have to come back and have someone look at that issue, both as part of the positive and the negative criterion of the D3. But don't let yourself get slashed over in those Cs, because no matter what they have here, they would need a bunch of C variances or they can't do anything. Also, one other thing while I'm on that, Mike's report, and I'm not criticizing Mike, this is factual. Mike's report noted that they had a bunch of pre-existing, non-conforming C deviations, but that's why I asked him, are you only getting rid of the buildings or are you getting rid of everything? You're getting rid of everything. So once you get rid of everything, nothing is grandfathered. And in my opinion, Kendra's report is correct. They need all those new C variances for whatever they do here. Again, no matter what they did, they would need that. Go
Yeah, I
ahead.
think that was part of the application.
Yeah, correct. I want to make sure that the board, you know, sees the big picture here.
The lamb chop you referenced, which I'm familiar with, I go to the car wash 3 times a week. The road, is that a municipal road or is that a state road, Mike? New Brunswick Avenue,
No, actually, that's a municipal road.
okay.
It's municipal from, well, all Dumont. It's, if you wanna call it the Dumont extension, to the light at
So my
23rd.
question is, when you made the car wash a condition, they had to put the
Well,
lamb chop
that's because
in?
they did not want to redesign the intersection to be able to make a left. So that was like a compromise. Okay, do the lamb chop.
Yeah, there
Now,
was quite a lot of testimony and discussion
Yes.
about that.
so,
But prior to that, there was no traffic, but you were still allowed to make a left.
yes,
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 that is
And you
true.
felt it would be better at the time to send everybody right, and now with the potential development of that site, may not be.
correct. What he's saying is, in his opinion, I think it's better, the best option, he said, is to try to redesign the intersection to allow left turns. It's gonna be a bunch of money, but they're gonna have to look at that.
Yeah.
That's what Mike is saying, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we didn't need state approval or anything.
No,
No.
no, that's our baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Perfect.
Pete, were you finished?
No,
No, I still have another exhibit I want to present.
know.
I have one more exhibit I want to present, which,
is this an exhibit and not in the file?
correct.
Okay. So this is gonna be exhibit what? A1? What do you have?
These are a set of color renderings.
Okay, are they stapled together?
They are.
Okay, so why don't we call the set of color renderings as exhibit A1?
Are those architectural renderings?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
but there's some site renderings too.
Oh, all right. Okay, that's good.
So, yeah, can you give one to everybody?
Certainly.
And before I even get mine,
Bruce, make sure. you
that
get-
is the Wendy's that is proposed here.
It's an exact,
It-
Do you have enough
okay.
for a second one for me for the?
He needs one for the board file also. Yeah, I'm gonna mark. Give it an official. We deserve it. I deserve a lot more. Yeah, no.
so we're on A1 here. The front page is a rendering of this building. It's the newest prototype from the brand. What you'll notice in the front is there's a little outdoor seating area. Main entrance is a set of double doors. You have the Wendy's logo. The signage on this rendering represents the signs that is actually proposed here. Yeah. So on the next page, you'll see more or less like an aerial view of the property.
Yeah, can we ask you something tomorrow when you get back to your office? Can you email this set
Oh, yeah,
to the board secretary and copies to the board professional? And the email reference that digital copy of exhibit A1.
no problem. So on page 2, you have more or less a aerial photo with the site superimposed. You'll see the car wash at the top and the highway at the bottom. You know, you can see the drive-through wraps around the rear of the building. The separate driveways I had mentioned earlier, you know, you have the entrance on the left and then you have the two exit drives. You want to go to the next page. This is actually a view from West Avenue, so it's the front of the building. And then the next page from there is just kind of a view showing the exit, the drive-through. Again, the signage that you see on the building is actually the signage that's proposed, which is rather limited. And there's a door here that I want to point out that says delivery pickup. That's for people that have a third party pickup. There's two spots that are reserved for that type of a pickup, and then there's a crosswalk. They could just go right to the delivery pickup, grab the bag, and then get the.
Mark, can I ask a question about the sign location of the pylon sign?
Yeah, that's my next exhibit.
Oh, it differs from the site plan.
Correct. After we received the board's technical reports for the project, there was a lot noted in those reports with regard to signage. So I prepared, it's just a one-sheet exhibit, I got A2, if you will. And there's a couple things circled here in red, which are the only items that have changed on this plan versus the one that was submitted.
Okay. It's gonna be A2. Then you're gonna give Bruce two of these.
An email that's also.
Give one attachment is gonna be the A1.
Stock this paper, you can commend.
Okay.
This is very nice.
Mark, one attachment is gonna be all of these together as A1. It's gonna be a large file. This will be a separate one, A2.
Can you do a Dropbox?
Yeah, you can do a Dropbox, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, so we're on A2 here. Starting at the site entrance, I circled something just to point out where all these signs are located. So there is an entry sign, which was on the plan set that was provided, but I wanted to circle it to highlight where all these things are placed. So it's just a directional sign. When you come into the property, we added a sign here that says delivery pickup with an arrow that just points to the left. And then beyond that,
Well, we're not seeing that.
Where's that?
Do you have like a large copy of this that you can hold up so you can point to?
Yeah, where on the site is that sign?
it's, everything I'm gonna talk about is in red, like circled. So when you come into the driveway and go straight,
Oh, okay.
The bottom left-hand corner of pylon sign.
Right, but it.
Yeah.
In fact, it looks like a snowman with a mean face.
It
Yes, it
does
does.
look like a snowman with a mean thing.
so There's-
Definitely looks like a snowman with a-
there's two things in that snowman that I wanna point out. The pylon sign was moved from the right side of the property to this side. And in front of the pylon on the ground is a small sign that just advises direction for where to go if you wanna pick up, for deliver. So in essence, if you look
Yeah.
directly across the drive aisle where there's an island, we put a little sign there. Again, a wayfinding sign that says drive through, just with an arrow. And moving off to the right, you'll see in the middle of the parking lot, there's another red circle. Those two blue icons on the pavement there say mobile order pickup. And then the last thing I want to point out is at the end of the drive-through, there's 3 spaces on the plan that was submitted. Those were labeled employee parking. I changed 2 of them from employee parking to delivery pickup. And then finally, you have the exit sign, which was always on the plan, but that's another wayfinding sign. It just says exit with an arrow. So in essence, yes, the pylon sign did move. I actually think this is a better location than the far other end of the site. But we also added the pickup delivery sign and change some of the designated parking
And
stalls.
where's the detail for that pylon sign on the plan? You know what sheet?
I think it's sheet 12, but rather than confuse the board, I brought a handout with the entire signage.
Oh,
package, which I can
great.
Give you,
Okay, that's gonna be A3, wonderful.
okay,
So just for the record, A2 is this plan that's titled preliminary and final major site plan and variance plans, site layout plan. And it has a last revision date of March 5, 2024.
yes. So this is a sign package which covers pylon sign, and I think the menu boards in here as well, some of the building signage.
Do two.
Mark, real quick, the dimensions that you're, on some of these, are, the dimensions of the sign are not changing, some of the locations have moved a little bit, but like, for instance, the pylon sign, is that the same as what was submitted
It's smaller.
dimensionally? Oh,
It got
smaller,
Smaller, yeah.
oh, okay.
We dropped it down to 54.5 square feet and a 20-foot overall height. And then we eliminated a bunch of building signs on the facade that we felt were duplicative. The architect's gonna point out in his presentation.
Okay, so we're gonna call A3, even though it doesn't say so on the cover, sign package exhibit.
Okay,
And there's no date on it, so we're just gonna put today's date on it. I have the last one. 3/14/24.
and then on the last page, it shows the new digital menu boards. Which has now become standard for the use.
So the mobile order pickup delivery on the spaces, that's not a sign, is it? That's just printed on the pavement?
Yep.
Okay.
So the entry sign and the exit sign, while they are directional, I think your exhibit, at least on the site plan, and I don't see an update in the A3 exhibit. They have Wendy's logo on it, is that correct?
Yeah, it's got like a little half circle at the top with the Wendy face.
Okay, so are they on site or off site?
The entry and exit are actually in the right of way, but we could easily move them back.
Yeah, you're gonna have to, yeah.
And then the pylon
And,
sign,
oh, by the way, just, Mike, who owns that right of way on West Avenue?
Greenwich Township.
Yeah, but that'd be two problems. A, you need consent, and B, technically it would be a billboard. So you definitely wanna move those things onto your property.
Not a problem.
I think
Ask Mr. McDonough all about
yeah, I
that.
think I called that out in
Yeah,
my review letter. The pylon sign you indicated was reduced to what?
It's 54.5 square feet. And the height's reduced to 20 feet. So, there's no major questions, maybe what we should do is go to the architect and then we'll come back to some of the reports.
Let me check with board members and see
Okay.
if there are. Kathy?
I have a couple of questions. So I see here it says 29 seats. So how many tables is that?
Kathy, what are you looking at?
I don't know, the one with the red
The
circles on it.
plan, in fact. It's
Let me, A2. You're looking at A2, right? Write down A2, that's what, right?
We have the architect who's gonna present the inside for the plan and describe that for you.
How many parking spaces are there? I see what I see, but I see two that say mobile pickup. I guess I need to understand the difference between delivery / pickup and mobile pickup. So what is mobile? Obviously, you did it mobile, I get it. What's the delivery pickup and why do they go to the other side?
Yeah, and
What's
before,
the distinction?
before he answers that, ask him the underline, is there 10 + 7 + 3? Are there in fact 20 spaces, parking spaces shown on the plan?
Yes.
Okay, so now
Okay,
ask
but
him,
some are reserved for handicap, some are mobile pickup. We have only one employee spot on the other side of the building, so how many employees are there taking parking up? And I'm just trying to understand what's all right there.
Okay, couple things. The mobile pickup is if you were to place an order through your phone.
Right.
You have two options. You could pick it up inside, or you could pick it up at the drive-through window. So if you pick it up inside, you actually have to go in the building to the front counter. There's usually like a shelf, you know, the bags are all sealed, and you take the one with your name and you go. That's not the same as, let's say, Grubhub or one of those other apps. Those people are considered delivery pickup because they're actually picking up someone else's food, not their own, and then delivering it. And those people have to enter through the other entrance in the rear.
So if you order yourself, you have to get out of the car and go inside.
Or you could select that you'll pick it up in the drive-through.
All right, and then you have a parking space in front of the drive-through. What is that for? Because it's kind of blocking the first car.
This is something newer that a lot of restaurants have been doing. In fact, McDonald's is doing it. Sometimes you pull up to the window and they say,
Not ready.
you have to give us another minute. So they have an advanced space that you can sit just for a few seconds while someone finishes whatever's missing from your order, and they can just bring it out to your window.
So there's enough space that if the cars in the line have to go around them, they can get out and around.
Yeah, I mean, we separate the distance based upon, there's actually brand requirements for that we have to follow.
Car 7 feet.
Okay, so again, back to the number of employees that would be parking on site. How many people run a restaurant?
Believe it or not, there's 6. Most of them get dropped off or take Uber. I've actually worked on Taco Bell as well. And I can tell you that the Taco Bell on Route 22 in Somerville, there are 6 people working there and there's 0 cars in the lot. Because most of the people that work in the restaurant don't drive. So
meaning, are they from high school or are they retired people or what?
it's a mix of both. I mean, there's a lot of drop-offs and pickups. Some of them carpool.
Well, what if they all drove though? Where would you put them?
Well, if they all drove, then they would occupy 6 spaces, which believe it or not, does not hinder the amount of spots available, because inside the restaurant, there's only seating for 18. Years
It
ago,
says 29 seats.
the architect has a plan that he's gonna show you in a couple of minutes with a more detailed interior of that restaurant. There's 18 seats on the inside, there's 18 seats on the outside, they're seasonal. Now,
All right, so the 29 seats means someone's gonna tell us that how many are inside and how many are outside, but
No, I think that's
if it-
wrong.
if it's 18 and 18, that's 36.
Yeah, I don't think 29 is right.
Yeah, so someone's gonna have to correct that.
You
Tell them what
said
it is.
36 before, Mark, and you're.
it is 36. Well,
Okay, well, the plan shows 29.
I
Falls out 29.
no, I mean, there's a reason for it,
Oh,
you know, and it's not to confuse the board.
just the engineer.
If you remember when we filed the
Just as
application
you-
back last year, we actually had a different set of architectural plans by a different architectural firm.
So
So,
these guys don't know that because those plans never made it to them. They don't get their plans until it's queued up for a hearing.
okay. But to answer your question, you know, you might remember some of the.
That's why you don't get them until it's queued up for a hearing.
You might remember like some of the Wendy's restaurants that were built in the 90s and early 2000s, they had a dining room that accommodated about 100 people. Things have changed and people just don't eat out, it's in the dining room like that. And this is for all franchises. In fact, there are some brands that don't even have a dining room anymore. It's just strictly pickup and drive-through. So, based upon, studies of how people's habits have changed on top of, permanent change that happened as a result of the pandemic, there's no need for a dining room that large. So 18 seats is.
Here, put it this way, is someone, are you gonna testify about that now, or is the architect gonna testify about that?
I mean, he's gonna show you the actual layout, how many tables there are, where they're positioned, and how much space the kitchen takes up and that type of detail. But I'm answering the question about,
What should we write on exhibit A2? It says 1,588 square foot building, 29 seats. What should we write?
36 seats, which does include the outside seats.
Are we gonna hear testimony, maybe from the owner? When that is open, when the outside patio area is open, because I'm sure in January it's not open. I mean, I wouldn't think it is. So somebody gonna testify to that as far as,
I could just tell you it's seasonal,
okay,
a day like today, people might want.
well, today it would be a beautiful days.
Right, but I have to imagine, loosely that sometime after Halloween it'd be closed, and it would open sometime.
All right, so how
So
many?
how many inside?
Right, how many places are there to sit on the patio and how many seats are there in the restaurant?
18 in the restaurant and 18 on the patio.
And question for Mike, I completely read your report, but does the number of parking spaces need a variance or not?
Then, no, I don't, let me, actually, I made a,
Mike, what's the ratio of
Does it not?
handicap
It
to
does not,
regular?
it does not.
no, it does not. No.
What's the number of handicap to regular? Isn't there? a
Ask
ratio?
him.
Oh,
You
what's-
need, for a parking lot with less than 25, you need one space that's van accessible.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask our engineer one question concerning West Avenue? Is there parking allowed legally in our township on that street?
Okay. That's a very good question, which I should know the answer to, and I think I'm gonna get to it. And I do know that there's no parking restriction via ordinance and or signage. So therefore, by default, there is parking allowed,
That's correct.
but that's the backwards way to make it happen.
So on
Yeah.
that street,
Supposed to be a
you
lot of
have,
parking.
but you have the people who work at the car wash, all park in that
Yep.
first block.
Yeah.
And then the people who are obsessed with drying their cars beyond the vacuums, pull out to the circle and
There.
continue detailing.
Exactly.
So,
I think you should repeat that after he's paying attention so he can hear. They're gonna have to come back and address that stuff. He's not hearing.
well, I'm just, okay, I will.
It's not illegal to park on the street.
No, it's not, but that, it's the congestion of the in and out,
They
as
have enough
Andrew pointed out in the
They
detail.
have enough parking.
Actually, you should address that.
So I just want to make a point
Mark,
about
let's-
parking on the street. The people who work in the car wash all park in the street. Okay, and then you have people who come out of the car wash, they vacuum the car, and then they pull to the cul-de-sac to finish detailing their car for a few more minutes. So that's always got cars parked or being worked on by the owners of the car before they drive away.
Yeah.
So to your
on a-
point,
on a
parking
sec-
on the
yeah.
street, now, if you have people parking there that might be allowed now, is only gonna allow probably one lane to go either way in and out car wash.
If you go there on a Saturday, during the summertime, and that's obviously peak time for the car wash.
Right.
Both sides of West Avenue will be filled, including all around the cul-de-sac. That's,
yeah.
it's pretty busy, from exactly what Ms. Cullen was just explaining.
And then I have a question. This drive-through is 2-lane, one for the actual people waiting to queue up at the window and the other for people to get around for the pickup or turned in the wrong lane or changed their mind or whatever, right?
It is,
Okay, there's a bar for the height on the drive-through?
yes.
Does that extend to the second lane?
No, because the bar is to protect the canopy at the pickup window.
So what is to protect from the tractor trailers pulling in to get their burgers? Because they ignore all the rules of everything and just do whatever they want. So if they pull into that lane, and does the bar go all the way across? Or is it gonna allow them to ride the right lane to get around? We know this is gonna happen.
The bar does not go all the way across.
Like she's suggesting, she's asking a rhetorical question. What she means is, would you consider extending the bar across to the second lane
But-
so that a tractor trailer or a big oversized truck could not get in there?
But to your point, I think it has to be in the beginning and not,
Yeah, if
After
you're
they're
gonna do
turned
that,
in,
yeah, that's.
it's gotta
you
block them
can't
from
put the
coming
bar
into
where-
the
you
drive.
Can't extend the second lane where the bar is now.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's,
but just for you, in terms of the parking on the street,
yeah,
they have enough parking spaces. I mean, they don't need a variance on that.
I'll put it this way, they meet the ordinance, someone could
People-
ask them to explain to the board why that's enough spaces, based on how many seats they have in the restaurant. Someone could still ask that question, even though technically
And
they meet the ordinance.
And does the change in number of seats in the restaurant affect the number of parking spaces needed?
Right, that's what you're gonna ask them.
No, actually, based upon the square footage.
Okay, under the ordinance. It's based upon the square footage under the ordinance,
Well,
correct?
yeah, correct.
So what I'm saying is that there's no question that they don't need a variance, they comply.
They do not need a variance for
But-
the number of parking
Right.
spaces.
But as part of the negative criterion, because it's not connected, if it was connected to a shopping center, and if there was ever a problem with parking, even though it met the ordinance, it'd be a whole bunch of other parking spaces, because they don't have that. I think it's a legitimate negative criterion question that they could ask them, so they should be prepared to answer it. That's all I'm saying.
Well said.
and I have a question on deliveries, procurement, supplies. Where does that come in here? And what time of day does that come in? Saturday afternoon, when all the parking spaces in the drive-through are packed, is there a tractor trailer pulling in to deliver supplies?
Actually, they don't deliver on Saturday. It's a weekday delivery. It occurs in the early morning. And the driver actually has a key to the building. So what happens is he'll enter the property, they'll park right in front of the building. Take his key, open up the entrance, bring the goods through, put it in the walk-in freezer, refrigerator area, he'll lock up the building and then he leaves.
I
So it
assume
happens before business opens.
I assume it's sometime after 2:30 AM and before 7 AM, correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's usually a very early going, 5 AM.
Like, the reason I'm asking,
I'm
if
asking.
their hours of operation are 7 to 11 for the dining room and 7 to 2:30 AM, if they deliver between 2:30 AM and 7 AM,
And there's nobody
and
there.
there's no one there,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be a problem,
Right.
correct?
Well, actually, they could deliver after 11 PM because at that point, the dining room's closed, so there wouldn't be vehicles in the lot anyway.
Okay,
Okay,
and where do they pull in to make?
they're
the
coming
delivery?
in where the parking spaces
With the
are.
parking space. Is
Yeah,
that
they're just
correct?
gonna park in
Yeah,
the
they're
lot.
parking at the
And
third.
they're walking where that crosswalk is that how they enter for deliveries?
Yeah, they use a hand truck, the whole process takes about 25
So
minutes.
just to play this thing out, and when I ask these questions all the time, I'm not binding the board, but assuming the board got to the point where they were inclined to grant the application. I assume the applicant would be fine with the condition saying you can only have weekday deliveries and only after fill in the blank. After what time and before what time?
I'll even offer that that's very common.
So fill in the blanks, please.
It would be, well, the delivery had to be after the dining room's closed, so I would say after 11 PM.
After 11 PM and prior to 7 AM.
And then the other question I have is, how is garbage handled from the store, restaurant to the trash? Is that during the day as cars are pulling in and out, you have somebody with a dumpster going back and forth to dump garbage?
It's, at the end of the day when they clean up,
End of the day, it doesn't happen during the day?
no, what'll happen is the last shift has to clean the kitchen and empty the recycle bins and the other refuse. So they would take that to the enclosure and get the pickups twice a week.
The reason I'm asking is because if it's a very busy day and you have a lot of garbage and someone's having worked in fast food when I was 15, garbage was going out all day long. So if you have people trying to pull in and out and a drive-through and you have people shoveling trash, it seems like there's a lot going on in one area.
We raised that exact point, Kathy, in our report about the conflict.
Okay.
So,
So did we.
so it's obviously there's a
Yeah.
concern
I just
on
wanna
a
point out
number of
that
fronts.
the majority of refuse is generated through the dining room. Again, these dining rooms are very, very small now. There are not a lot of people eating in the dining room. And I remember like the old McDonald's prototypes, they had playgrounds inside, all kinds of stuff, and the place was a zoo. Things have changed. There isn't a lot of trash being generated in those receptacles because there's not a lot of people that come in there to dine.
Let's go back to the same thing we did with deliveries. Trash pickup twice a week.
Yeah,
I assume because the trash pickup is, again, going in the entrance, it's going into that driveway and then backing up, that it should only be weekday between what hours and what hours.
also in the morning.
So trash pickup twice per week, after when and before when?
I mean, it'll be between, typically 1 a.m. and 5 a.m., but, it would have to be before they're open, so before 7.
So 1 a.m. to 5 a.m.
Can I just piggyback on this question about the refuse disposal, because it's more than just operationally, I think it's aesthetically. That corner is a highly visible corner.
Yeah.
And what we put into the report was, is there a way that we can be relocated, especially if it's not used very often? And I think, if you could look at maybe swapping the parking that sits, on the exit drive with the refuse disposal going in.
You mean
that-
the delivery pickup?
Really far though. Yeah,
Over here?
correct, the delivery pickup spaces, yeah.
Could you put it in front of those pickup spaces? Is there room in front? Where they would back it, the truck would back
In
into
front,
the
okay, when
pickup
you say
space?
in front, you mean between the drive and the spaces or
Where the
on the other side of the space?
pickup is, those two spaces,
Right.
could you put it there?
Okay, so,
Since the restaurant's not open, the truck could back into there to pick up the garbage? When it's not, when
Well, I
it's,
mean, it could be also a front loader too. I mean, regardless, I think there's gotta be a different, it would be a better site plan if that trash enclosure were to move, just generally for operational purposes as well as
We're gonna have to
aesthetic.
repeat again.
closer to the building.
where Kathy suggested it, it makes
Yeah, I
some sense. I
agree.
mean, those
Yeah.
3 spots
Yeah.
are specialty spots to begin with.
Yeah,
So if somebody's in there, the manager of Wendy's comes out, tells them to get out of there because the garbage truck's gotta go in and
But they're
dump the
coming on
dumpster.
off hours, there's nobody in those spaces.
Right,
yeah.
Even
So
better.
that's why, yeah,
Correct,
so I
even
think,
better.
I think you could use it
It's like
for,
a
So-
double.
So they're
parking.
asking,
right, yeah.
would you consider relocating the trash enclosures from the north side of the site to the south side of the site, to the southeast of the one employee parking space and the 2 delivery pickup spaces?
So I could keep the spaces, but beyond the
Yeah,
spaces.
yeah.
Beyond,
Correct.
beyond,
Because if
yeah.
you had the condition that they're not coming until after 1 and before 5, no one will be parking there.
If you look at A2, Mark,
Yeah,
where your number 3 is shown, right, that's basically where it should go.
Yeah.
With the 3 with the circle.
Can you check with the finance rep so you can give them an answer?
I don't think the average garbage truck is gonna take that barrier.
It's gonna, no, it's gonna come in the out,
Come
it's
in
gonna
there?
come in the out,
Yeah,
and then back in and go out where they came, and go do like a little K-turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll figure it out.
What's the difference on aesthetically pleasing if it's one side or the other?
Because you don't see from the corner of the major
Yeah,
But you're
intersection
gonna see
there.
it from the future development of the street, so, and in fact, it's closer to.
well,
the
actually, they have a fence and they have plantings around it. The difference is seeing the gates.
Well, I think the difference is actually the public right of way. 22 and, New Brunswick, there's a clear site.
They're very close. On the other side, it's not. That's what they're
Yeah,
saying.
you're not gonna, that's
It's
gonna be,
pushed
And you're
away,
beyond the
exactly.
corner of where you come in.
Yeah,
the only people seeing that are the people driving on West Ave.
and you almost have to turn and look to get. to look at that part.
Future development of the lot next to that.
Yeah, you're gonna put
Oh.
future development, you're gonna put trash next to somebody's property.
Oh. What's the fee?
Out of the store?
No, the block 38.
Yeah, that's across. the
Across
street.
the- Yeah.
On the same side of the street, there's gonna be.
No, that's yours.
Yeah. Yeah. Right down here. Well, I think maybe.
I think it's still hide it better, I think, there than.
Yeah, I got it. Oh, I mean, like, we call it a recess.
It's a business.
that's like a maker to the gate.
I'm just saying, that's what Mark.
Oh, yeah, it's just, I mean, it's not like it's residential development, correct?
Correct, but it's further, it's closer to the road than it is now, and more people will see it unless you screen from 22 with the trees.
Yeah, but it's further from the 22 New Brunswick major intersection.
She's more concerned about it being further from 22, and she's not that concerned with how close to West Avenue it is.
No, and it could be easily screened. There's enough space.
I mean, you're concerned more about obstruction, so.
You could,
So-
you could screen
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that's what-
So.
her argument instead of.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's definitely, and it's not allowed in the front yard, by the way. So there's a variance situation.
You know, I don't know if we're gonna have enough room to move it to that corner only because when you take into account the.
We'll put it this way, look, you're gonna be coming
swing
back
to the
anyway to
open
answer
spaces.
that traffic thing, so just look into it, bring some sort of sketch when you come back to show whether it works or doesn't work.
So it could swing to the parking spaces because nobody's gonna be in those spaces. It's gonna be off hours.
They're gonna look at it, they heard, they're gonna.
Seriously, one other question, just from a Wendy's operational standpoint, when you put together these plans, why did you put the dumpster over there as opposed to over here?
Really far.
I just didn't want it close to the outdoor patio.
Okay, all right,
I can understand that.
that,
They screen for it.
Okay.
okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
I've got a question for Mark. I don't know if we passed the enclosure issue.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Okay. Mark, the queuing of the cars in the drive up, is there some standard in the fast food industry, you know, with Wendy's, McDonald's, Burger King, et cetera, as far as the number of cars or the length of the line that's necessary? Is that, I mean, what is it? I don't know.
Specifically with regard to Wendy's. The studies say that the 85th percentile queue is 5 cars.
The 85th percentile queue is 5 cars.
Right.
Oh, really?
Now, when you say the 85th percentile of the queue, that sounds like it's coming out of the ITE. Wendy's has done their own study?
This is something called Poisson Arrival Distribution, which does assume that all cars are entering the drive-thru.
Right, but is that a Wendy's study or is that some study recognized by the ITE or throughout the country?
No, it's not a IT study. It's based on Wendy's.
That's a Wendy study.
Okay.
So,
85th percentiles, only 5.
yeah, but when we design the restaurants,
Well, you've got, okay, so you got almost double. What do you got here? Like 9?
Well,
I think it's 10, but
2, 3,
the
4,
point I'm
5,
trying to
6,
make is
7, 8,
that
9. Yeah,
when we
10, including
design-
that one in the front.
when we design for Wendy's, the brand has their own standards as well, that they like to see a queue of at least 8 cars. 9 would be, a home run. But, sometimes you can't fit 9, so then we have to do a more localized analysis, but in this case. Again, one of the aspects of the property that's truly wonderful is the fact that we have the room for such a long queue. And we always get the question, well, what if you get 20 cars there? Let's be honest, it's fast food. If you see a queue of 20 cars, you're not gonna go there. You're gonna just say, forget it, I'm gonna go somewhere else.
And so what you're saying is, there's a study, there's some study that says 85th percentile 5-car queue, Wendy's standard is an 8-car queue, and you're proposing a 10-car queue.
Yes,
Can you give me something on that study? Or I tell you what, submit a copy of that.
not a problem.
I don't think the first, I call that a 9-car queue. I don't think that car that.
Okay, it's a
pulls ahead
9-car
should
queue,
be
you're right.
Included in
Okay.
the number.
Fair enough. They propose a 9-car queue.
Still well above the minimum.
So I have a question. If that trash ends up being moved, is it possible to put parking, maybe for those employees who might have cars there?
Yeah, I
Just
mean,
throwing it out there. Or maybe another handicap space, since there's only one.
it's too
So
far.
handicap is
I don't think
right
I'd
far
make
away,
it
but
handicap space.
No, but I meant if you could add and then make it additional regular. I'm sorry, is what I meant.
Got it.
Because one isn't a lot. When one's taken. Problem.
you taking notes about this, what to bring back?
Mark, I'm generally interested in the site layout. Is there a reason why you didn't split and put the building closer to the intersection where you're gonna get more visibility? Did you try that as an option?
So the issue there was the width of the site. That's the only, I guess, efficient part of the site where I could fit a drive aisle with cars on both sides. Paving a drive aisle, just having parking on one side is like a huge waste of pavement, so
Gotcha.
the building fits nicely in that corner where it's narrow.
So the width the larger area of the width, accommodate the parking and the drive-through. Versus if you were to switch it, you don't have enough width where the Wendy's building is now to do that.
Right, and it makes the drive-through on the wrong side,
Gotcha.
so that the window is now facing the street, which we try not to do. It happens sometimes, though.
There's a lull, so keep on going.
You know, I think, at this point, if you want to hear a bit about the architecture, and then we'll talk about some of the planning guys.
Is there anyone here from the public?
Questions for this witness?
Do you have any questions for this? Was it questions, not
You
comments?
gotta come up.
What was that?
I don't make big jokes.
Oh, okay.
You pick between the chili. Piggybacks.
Okay, so no questions and none from the board?
I'm curious, are you gonna respond to the comments in the review,
Yes.
review letters, or is that something that's gonna occur after you do the redesign and get a?
They should do after they do the redesign, it'll be more efficient. If he does it tonight, then
No, there's a lot of comments. They shouldn't, in my
Yeah, okay.
opinion.
yeah,
Go through all the comments.
I mean, you can if you want, but you're just gonna
No, I
blow your
I
time.
don't want to be, so to say inefficient, but
Yeah.
You
it'll be
know, again,
inefficient.
I think, it's probably the board's benefit that since we have the architect here, that he should,
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
I'm not going anywhere, so.
But
I'll be
you,
back.
if you revise the plans and well, obviously the traffic analysis that you're gonna do. And now the trash enclosure relocation, a couple of things we've already touched on. And resubmit for whether that be next month or the month after, depends on timing, of course. You're liable to cut both Kendra's report, and my report in half.
Right.
Yeah, so, and it makes your job especially a lot easier.
That'd be great.
All right,
So,
so
so for planning purposes, the board's April meeting is April 3. So the board has a
What,
20.
what?
No,
April 3.
No, it should be the next.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, what did I? Totally
You're
wrong.
in the right year, John?
No, I'm not. April 11. April 11. The board has a 21-day submission requirement, but a lot of times on something like this, they'd probably be willing to waive it and use the 10-day MLUL
Mhm.
provision, but then you can't complain. The applicant can't complain then if they get Mike and Kendra's report the day of.
Understood.
How about the compromise in 2 weeks? Instead of 3 weeks or 10 days, do 2 weeks. Yeah, right, that's only a couple days earlier, right, Mark, you good with that?
What would be the date 2 weeks before?
Well,
I will tell you, the
March 28th.
Oh, John.
March 28th.
Okay.
yeah, then I think we're ready for your architect.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Efraim Gabriel. I graduated from NJIT with a bachelor degree of architecture in 2015. I am licensed currently in New Jersey, New York.
Andrea. Can I hear?
Can you go louder?
Sure.
Your licenses?
I'm licensed in New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, and Florida. As I said, I'm graduated from since 2013 from NJIT with a Bachelor of Architecture. This is my first time in front of this board, but I have witnessed before as a professional architect and several other boards.
Which other
Around New
boards
Jersey.
have you tested? Have you been accepted as an architectural expert before?
Yes.
Which ones?
It's all over New Jersey, in Jersey City, smaller town around Jersey City, Bayonne.
Okay, and on Wendy's in particular or various things?
Different types of buildings, but I've witnessed, for
You've
commercial.
testified.
I testified, on, commercial buildings as well as residential buildings.
If there's- right. Okay, so the board accepts your credentials.
You gonna ask? Oh, I have a question on-
Do you have it?
Have you done fast food at all?
No, this is my first, testimony, in the fast food, type of building.
Thank you.
And does the public have any questions?
On
about
disqualification? No.
Okay, so the board accepts your credentials.
So I'd like to start by, just explaining, just talking about the layout in relation to the site and, the components of the building on the interior. I don't know if you could see.
Tell us what sheet you're on.
This was submitted to the.
Right.
Yeah, correct.
Just tell us the sheet, A1.
A 1.01.
Yeah. Okay, go for it, nice and loud.
Just for the orientation, the parking is on this side of the building. West side, West Avenue is on this side, this is the highway.
Just do us a favor for the purposes of the record. This side, that side,
Absolutely.
direction, north, west, south, or east.
North of the plan, this is West Avenue,
So West Avenue's north, up, right?
north up, north of the plan, yeah. This is the parking lot on the northwest side of the plan. The main entrance is on the north side of the plan here, and the way we planned out the building was, we tried to be as efficient as possible in terms of circulation, both for access from outside and inside the building. We chose the entrance to be on the north side of the plan, to be closer and easier, to the parking lot. We also have, main three components of the building, going from west to east. On the west side, there is the cooler area with a walk-in freezer, and the kitchen area. And then on the further to the east, south of the plan, this strip here down in the plan south. This is the back area where they prepare the sandwiches. Again, the seating area is towards the north here, closer, of course, to the entry. And the patio at the end east of that plan. This is the seasonal seating outside. There are 18 seats inside, 18 seats outside. The reason actually the numbers may have differed before because the previous plan did not have an easy access to the patio.
Can you count the chairs out there in the patio? I'm counting 16. I'm not counting 18.
Yeah, 16.
Oh,
There's one adjacent to the building. Did you see
Yeah.
that?
Oh, I see.
There's two,
Oh, there's two of them. Never mind. Yep, I got it.
Um,
Right, they're right up against the building, Mike.
right. So
Okay, yeah, I got it, thank you.
no problem. So the reason the number may have changed because there was a bench seating here that and there was no door access to the patio. And we decided it's just easier and safer to access, pick up your food. If you'd like to sit outside, this would be the way to go. You don't have to exit the building and walk it from outside. We have also in the inside here, we have 4 stations where people could order. It's closer to the door. If you see the entry door, where it says entry 100, you enter through there. So if you're walking into the store, you turn left. You see in front of you these digital menus where you could order and pay and wait for your order. There is a family room, an accessible family bathroom as well, with a utility closet here. And again, the kitchen prep area, sandwich prep area, and the seating. It's 18, it's outside, 18 inside.
Yeah, where the 18 inside now? I have single fixed seats, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then there's like bench seating. And the bench seating looks like you can fit 8. So,
I was counting based on how big the tables are.
so how many people can sit on each side of the table? 2 on each side, right?
Yeah.
So 2, 4, 6, 8. 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20 on the inside. Fixed seat, fixed seat, fixed seat. He's saying, you want, look, two on this side of the bench, two on that side of the bench, two on this side of the bench, two on that side of the bench.
What we could do is confirm and make sure our seating is numbered
Yeah,
actually.
why don't you do that?
So when we do that, not a problem.
And
Good
dark,
idea.
and dark.
But just for the record, this,
Did
they
you hear
count,
me? Oh, you did hear me?
absolutely.
Okay,
darker.
okay, I
Thank
just
you.
wanna make sure, I'm not being wise, okay, thank you.
No problem.
Okay.
But I'll make sure to actually put numbers on the seating, so we put this to the rest. But just for the record, the seating count does not affect the parking outside, as we mentioned earlier, so.
Wait, okay, the seating count doesn't affect the ordinance requirement for the parking outside. Everyone understands that. You're gonna have, you have a question over there, which is, okay. Now tell us, they realize the ordinance is satisfied. They wanna know from the negative criterion of the D3 variance, is there enough parking for the number of seats? They're not talking about ordinance compliance, you comply. You understand what I'm,
I understand.
That's
No,
what she's asking.
absolutely,
okay,
yes. And, again, next time we could address that and make sure the numbers are, the seating is actually numbered on the plan. So as I said, the main entrance is towards the parking lot. There's an entrance to the patio here. Also, talking about the employee parking, the single employee parking towards the south east side of this plan. That calls out for the delivery pickup, two parking for delivery pickup. They have easy access to this door, and because this is where they pick up the deliveries, like Uber Eats and such. So it's easy access, it's not a long distance, they can be in and out quickly. And then this is the pickup, this is the pickup window. So you order in the queue here south of the plan, and you pick up from this window. There is a safety railing here in case cars are coming in and anyone would like to cross the safety railing that prevent that from happening. So we took safety into consideration, in terms of, again, layout, circulation, inside and outside, the property. In terms of, inside and outside the building. In terms of the architectural characteristic of the building.
Can I just ask a question on the last page? So if you did the mobile app, where are you picking your food up?
So mobile app is different, because mobile, you come in
Front
through
door.
the front door.
Right.
And you pick it up from, they would be, left here on like a, a countertop or something with
left here where?
Left unmanned,
so the mobile parking is here.
right, we know where that is.
Where
When you go
on the
inside, where it's
northwest side of the building. So you walk in through the front door, and this is where, it's towards the patio. It's right by the, on the side of the patio, on the inside of the building, of course, that's where you would pick up your.
It looks like there's a counter
Where
there
was
under
the
a window,
service?
is that what you're talking about?
Service 104?
No, it's, so, you see where, you see where the window is?
Yeah, there's a
It's
counter
the
there,
counter
right?
across from that window.
Is it
Right.
the counter across from the window, or is the counter right under the window?
No,
It's right next to
it's
the
inside.
door?
It's
It's next to
inside
the
the
door?
store.
Okay,
You're supposed to walk in from the front door and pick it up from that countertop.
okay.
That's if you're ordering on mobile, because some people, they order ahead and they just walk in, pick it up and leave.
Kathy, does that answer your question?
So if your food is unsecured, it's sitting on a counter, nobody's checking the bag to hand you the right food? Oh, I'd never be doing
It's.
that.
I
it's
assume you go,
typical and,
when you pick up your bag, you're gonna check yourself, no?
I could take somebody else's bag.
You
I might like
could,
If
their
you're that
order
type of
better.
person, you could.
you could.
So typically, of course,
I will
so
leave my food on
typically
hand.
it's labeled with a big bold number that matches your order. I mean,
Okay.
I just went to Dunkin' Donut this morning. That's what I did. Just pick it up and go.
Can I ask you a question about the layout of the floor plan at for the restaurant?
Sure.
And maybe it's just me, but the flow of traffic for a person coming in that wants to order and stay just looks peculiar to me, because it seems you walk in the front entrance, of course, and you gotta either make like a 180 almost in either the left or the right direction to get to the service counter to put your order in. The service counters are typically much closer to the front entrance. Or this is Wendy's floor plan and that's the way they work it, and it's.
They wanted you to order at the front door.
I should go more often and I see.
So
See this.
actually, so with this prototype, they study that the behavior, you know, our behavior and how we like to order things. That's why, in the beginning of my presentation, I pointed out these four stations at the northeast corner of the building. So you walk in, that's where you order right away. If you're not gonna order on the phone, people prefer to order themselves, looking at the menu, touch the screen, and they will
Oh,
order right
these are
there.
order stations.
Yeah, it's
These,
four order
oh,
stations,
all right.
of course,
Oh,
accessible.
so you're not going, okay.
mean, no-
If you said that, I missed it.
No problem, no problem, but
Okay.
most of the people, they would do that rather than actually speaking to someone nowadays.
Yeah, right.
Uh,
For the older folks, that's-
but in case you still would like to, in case you still would like to order, and there's, let's say there's a queue, 2, 3 people standing, waiting in line, this area allows the queue in front of this counter, and you would just order on this counter. So there is room for people to wait, there's room for, if you would like to wait inside, not in the car.
Those automated order stations, whatever you call them, that's what I'll call them. That changes the complexion of the flow from what I was originally gonna say. I got it.
What's the square on both sides of the front door? What are the squares there? Because I first thought that was the ordering station, but it's not. Are those garbage cans?
You're talking about right next
Each side of
to-
the door, inside, there's a
Yes,
square.
this is a garbage can.
Garbage cans, okay. I thought that was the ordering station.
No, the order station is at you see the corner?
No, I see it now, but if I was to go in and make a right turn, I'm way
When
far
when
away.
you,
I
when
gotta
you
go
revise
down.
it to, when you revise it to number
Yeah.
of chairs and all, it would help if you would label those
Can you
things.
label everything that you're talking about so people can see what it looks like?
Of course, no problem.
So service is the counter where someone could also ring up an order for you, or you had to have done it at the other station?
I'm sorry, which one?
Where it says service,
104.
that counter there, that's by the back door with the.
That's your
Instacart
order
people
counter,
come.
right?
You
Yes.
order there as well if you didn't want to do it yourself on the
You
other
could.
machines?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
That's old school.
Right,
Like you're actually talking to
I
someone.
like to
Exactly.
talk to someone.
exactly. Is the kitchen open to the dining room or is that a solid wall?
There is a wall here, where it says crew 107, right below that, there is a wall along the sandwich prep area. But then this wall ends, and then you have a visual to the counter, people serving, as the front end of things, the register and the
But that wall's a full wall,
packaging.
not a knee wall, whatever, it's a full wall?
this is the full wall, yes,
Okay, thank you.
the one below the clear. So just back to the architectural characteristics of the.
So now you're looking at sheet one.
We're looking at sheet A 2.01.
Hey, you said 2.01?
18.01.
2.01. So this is the Wendy's prototype style of building. It's modern looking. We're using mostly ACM panels and some software here towards the cooler. So if you look at the should I wait? Maybe you're. Yeah, the sheet open. So if you look at the north elevation, for example, this would be your main entrance. To the right-hand side, this gray and black color, this is the cooler area. And then your main building where the kitchen and seating area it's in the middle here, this bigger volume. And then towards the end, this is the covered patio. outside here on the left-hand side of the north elevation plan, north elevation. The main entrance again is here. We looked at the signage, of course, and we understood that we needed to bring down the signage. So we revised our signage to bring it to the bare minimum. We eliminated any signage that, you know, that wasn't really needed, but we had to keep, you know, the characteristics of a Wendy's. So we had just one sign here on the front where the main entrance is, with a sign here that says quality is our recipe. And then moving to the south elevation at the bottom of this same page. You look at also, so you, right now, the cooler is on the left-hand side, and then the main volume. And you're looking at the window for the drive-through. There's also a sign here in the back that says Wendy's. We actually had some signage here in the middle, but we eliminated it just to bring down also, again, the net square footage of the total signage area. And then at the end here on the right-hand side, this is the covered patio. And then on sheet A 2.02. We're looking at the east elevation and west elevation. Now, the east elevation is where the patio is. So you're looking at a sign over this canopy that says delivery pickup. That's just by that door, where Uber Eats, for example, would pick up the orders. And then they would pick it up from this window right here. And then on the west elevation down below, you'll see that this smaller volume, this is the cooler area, that gray shaded area, so the cooler area. And then behind it is, of course, the principal, the main building, where the seating and kitchen would be located. Again, it's ACM panels, beautiful, sleek design, typical Wendy's prototype building.
Okay, hold up.
Sure.
The plan we're all looking at says progress date, February 28, 2024. What's the date on that plan you have there?
Where do you look? Oh, there, it's 228.
I'm looking at, does this look, go to A 2.02. Underneath the architect's seal, it says progress date, February 28, 2024. Does yours show that number one?
February
Number
28, 2024.
Okay, and do you have any revisions in the box?
No.
Yeah, but oh, okay, all right, okay, I did not know that, fine. Got it.
Andrea asked me the same thing.
Okay,
Just so you understand, you guys did nothing wrong. Okay, our secretary's been out. So we're getting, these are new to us, but they've been here for a while.
We hope she gets well soon.
she's a new mom.
Yeah,
so
she's a new mom.
everybody's doing.
We have two issues.
Right.
Everybody's-
Yeah. So that's, keep on going.
I'm done with my presentation, if there are any questions.
Are there any questions from the board members?
Well, what influence, oh, sorry. Sorry.
That's okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The color scheme, and so forth, and every restaurant and these national, facilities all have their own scheme and signage and so forth. Is there any latitude, if, like Home Depot is orange, Lowe's is blue, I mean, and so on and so forth, so.
You have a problem with the colors?
No, I just, in case somebody did have. no, that's all.
Honestly, it's one of the least obnoxious ones.
Okay, no, I really good with it. I didn't say that, I just, if somebody wanted to make a suggestion, what kind of latitude do we have? Because in some cases, you have zero latitude.
Gonna keep going though, aren't you?
Well, Like they will always tell us they have zero attitude, and then you drive around and you see places. that are different.
Yes, how about that?
So,
We're not in Westfield.
No, I think that's very true.
but believe it or not, this red is called Wendy's red. So when, as, you know, among us architects, when we looking at colors, we say we need red, so this is. You know, very unique to Wendy's.
Actually, on that same question regarding latitude, not necessarily architectural character, because I think it's a really nice looking building. I love the pergola area, the seating, outdoor seating area. I'm just wondering. For two reasons, because if that refuge disposal area changes, is there a chance to flip flop that so that your pergola is on the other side of the building? And then your cooler area, which is a big block on the other side. Again, I'm going to the aesthetics of Route 22. The master plan talks a lot about aesthetics. The main viewpoints are gonna be from that 22 New Brunswick corner. That's such a nice architectural feature that it would be nice to see if it could flip flop.
So we tested that. The downside of the patio being on the other side. Is that the cooler area doesn't really fit well in that narrow end.
Okay.
So it doesn't provide, you know, because we have to have the bypass, and the drive-through. Lane, so these two lanes with a bigger box and at that end, it gets narrow. So don't make it, plus it was a lot safer and, yeah, I mean, the queue is also one, you know. We didn't want the patio to be where the cars are lined up.
Yeah, I understand that part too.
Like it fumes.
Yeah,
If you're
few
sitting there with your
people
food.
and
That's
the whole thing. I guess then, how much, do you have the ability to, you have a really nice wood material on the main part of the building. Can you expand that to cover the cooler, so it's not a big black box? That it has some texture to it and some of the architectural character that you've already put it on the building.
Right.
So your front facade has nice wood.
Right, I mean, we could look into it,
Okay,
we're not opposed to it.
Great.
But architecturally speaking, we wanted to highlight the main building, not the cooler
understand.
area.
but given the location of it as it relates to the road and the corner, if there's something you could do to upgrade that facade, I think it would go a long way to the positive criteria.
We could test it definitely, if it does look nice, you know, we don't oppose to it, but. I would like to ask for, you know, having an option to keep it the way it is, if.
Listen, just experiment, bring it in.
So the cooler, I'm looking, so from the side of the building that the drive-through is on, okay? Is the cooler the same material as that side of the building?
Which side?
So,
The side of the building that abuts the drive-through.
okay, so the cooler kind of continues on and look rougher. Is that the same material as that side of the building or something different?
No, it's, so it's meant to be stucco, it's similar color, but it's meant to be stucco, and then that back area where the drive-through is, it's ACM panel.
It's what?
Metal panel.
Metal panel.
Yeah.
You have to remember when I'd say 98% of traffic that is driving by this building is gonna be looking at the back of the building and not the front of the
From
building.
Route 22.
Yeah.
They're saying if you make it look nicer, it can only benefit you also.
The back of the building is in many respects, the front of the building. That's gonna be the building, the side that's exposed.
It's Route 22.
Exactly.
The Route 22 drive, that's what they're gonna say.
So I mean, that's almost, in my opinion, more important from, I know you got the drive-through back there, so you gotta work with that window and the traffic and so forth, but.
From the highway, they would be seeing the patio first, right?
Yeah, but if you get off the exit 3
No, you're right.
and 170, yeah,
You're
I mean,
absolutely right.
you'll see that, but side of the facade. But just keep it in mind if you look at this one.
And actually, this is one of the reasons why we looked at the patio on the other side, but then it's closer to the parking, it's closer
No,
to the.
Leave the patio where it is, but
We
bring
went
to the board
Of course,
the aesthetic look of that cooler.
no problem.
I would even go as far as saying your red Wendy's is something that's iconic that would actually pull people into that as well. I don't know if the entire box needs to be that color, but I think bringing that accent color to what people would see more often is probably a good idea.
No problem, we'll
I'd
definitely
rather do
test,
the wood, but.
no problem.
You have more to present? Any more questions for the board members there? No, public, any questions? Yes, you're gonna have to come forward and identify yourself.
You gotta come up.
No
And no
comment,
comments.
no comments. The only thing you can do is a question for his presentation.
Comments.
Later on, you can do comments.
Okay, no question.
Okay, thank you.
Problem, thank you.
So here's the question. Should you put on your planner who normally bats cleanup now? Or bring them back after the changes are made next week?
I asked that exact question of Mr. McDonough, and his answer is,
I always like testifying when I can come back and fix anything I mess up. So I have no problem giving you the crux of what I believe are the core proofs here.
But how are you gonna do that before you get your answer about how many seats, and even though you comply with the ordinance, is there enough parking on site, and how are you gonna do the other stuff with the aesthetics, but, you know, with that
I would
before they bring
reserve
that
the right
back?
to come back. That's
And that's the most efficient, because if you don't, you're gonna testify tonight, and you're gonna testify next time. You might as well just testify once, right?
I'll do whichever way the board proposes. I don't,
Well, it's up to the applicant.
Yeah, it's up to the
It's
applicant.
up to the applicant.
You want, I'm just telling you, if he testifies tonight, when we've done this, invariably, he's gonna be testifying again. because
Oh, yeah, he's
he's
coming back.
He's
next
coming
time,
back.
Sure, without a doubt.
Doesn't that apply to everybody?
Yeah, but because they've had questions they've had to respond to.
I get that.
He's fresh, he bats cleanup.
Yeah,
He
he's
gives
gonna
his
tell us
testimony.
why, he's gonna tell us why it's a great idea.
Right, he's gonna base his testimony on what everyone else has done to explain why the board should grant it.
You wanna take a time out for conference?
Yeah. You wanna take a 5-minute recess, let him talk about it?
Manager's doing it now.
All right, let's-
Hey, Alan. You
need a
wanna
recess?
take a couple minute break or no? You got it? You got your answer? Okay.
yeah, we'll come back. We'll finish strong with our cleanup batter here.
now,
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so the hearing on this application is gonna be continued to April 11.
Right.
Same time, same room, 7:30 PM, no need for further notice.
Are you gonna present tonight or not?
No, he's coming back.
He's not.
He just said.
I was unclear.
yeah, I think we stipulated, I'll come back next
Yeah,
time. and
okay,
do
all right.
it once.
All right,
Okay.
so
Did you just say 2 months?
No.
No,
one.
I'll do it once.
Oh, Loki, I'm sorry. I didn't hear that. Okay.
Oh, my God. We're making a very simple thing, very complicated. So we made the announcement.
yeah, do we need to make a motion to carry it or not?
No.
Isn't there a comment from, are you doing?
Doesn't Loker need?
Okay, well, so put it this way, if I would think you could have the public wait till the very end, but it might be beneficial to the applicant, if anyone has any comments on what they've heard so far, to actually let them comment tonight, because it only is 9:20.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the applicant's done tonight, right?
We're done presenting. for this
Okay,
evening,
so-
correct?
Let's allow the public as a comment, because you may not want to be here next month, so
Right.
you still gotta identify yourself.
And be sworn in and all that, you know the routine. Yeah. Can you identify yourself?
Yes, Scott Creighton, 302 Bradford Street, Bradford Road.
And how do you spell your last name?
Creighton, CREIGHTON.
Okay, can you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the comments you're about to make will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
The only comment I wanted to make, and I think the board was already in agreement, is that left turn has to be done before they break ground. Because construction vehicles have to turn left to get out of that road. They can't go right and go through the parking lots and whatnot. So I just want to make sure that left is made before you break ground for your investors. That's my comment.
Okay,
Interesting observation.
Yeah, it's very interesting observation. Yes, we make a couple comments.
are there any more public comments? No, back to the public.
Okay, so we'll then make the announcement again. The hearing in this matter is going to be continued without need for further notice to April 11, 2024 at 7:30 PM in this room.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Joe has a question.
About, for who?
We have to discuss anything else concerning lightings and.
Yeah, all that. That's going to be next
That'll
time.
come next time? That'll
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
come next time?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, yeah.
We gotta keep coming back until they all.
Yeah, sometimes-
You hope it doesn't go anywhere, possibly.
Sometimes.
Yeah, it can happen.
Okay,
So.
our next order of business is review of escrow balances. I did not get any updated information, so we have nothing to review. So with that, I'll ask Mr. Grill, is there an affordable housing update?
Yes, I have an affordable housing update if people want to hear it. Okay, so the 3 eminent domain actions have now been filed in court. The first one is the taking of the sanitary sewer easement and the sanitary sewer pipe from Dowell. The second taking that was filed in court was the taking of the sanitary sewer easement from Voorhees. And the third taking that was filed in court is the taking of the stormwater easement from Slack. So they have been filed. Answers have not been filed by the 3 property owners, but that will go in the normal course.
So they were filed, I didn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know,
Okay,
I saved it for the update.
that's a
So now
very
you know,
interesting
now
update.
you know.
Yeah, I sure do.
Did you want advance? Does that mean that?
Got it.
The only other affordable housing update is the status of the A4 bill, which has some major problems with it, which was supposed to be voted out, go to the Senate on Monday, has been pulled. So hopefully they'll make some changes to that bill.
That's for 20, that's looking forward to
Yeah.
2025.
Correct. So we shall see. And that's the end of the affordable housing update, unless anyone has any questions for me. Okay,
Any questions? Any?
You want me to give the Sentinel update? I mean, only
Yeah.
because it's gonna affect next month, potentially, okay. There's actually,
actually, wait, the construction update too.
oh, okay, yeah, we could do a construction.
Yeah, that's
update.
your bailiwick, not.
All right. Well, okay, let's segue to construction
Yeah.
update because we were just talking about affordable housing.
Right.
Obviously, the Willows proceeds. There's been some challenges there relative to, of course, construction traffic, mud on the road and whatnot. I thought it was a very good improvement that we made by putting that mesh on the fence. That certainly blends, hides the actual construction work a little bit better. But they're moving forward and it's full steam ahead. And, obviously now we're getting into March, we're getting into the springtime. They're finally starting to get around to putting some of their utilities in the ground and away we go. Moving ahead.
What's the other one you're gonna update?
Oh, I just wanted to advise the board, there's 2 other pending applications that are with me for completeness. The one you probably got today, as a matter of fact, on the Drake's barbecue.
Yeah.
Deemed incomplete for the second time. But Sentinel, which is the self-storage facility on Route 57, which is proposing 2 more storage facilities and an office building. That report is ready to go out. I needed to talk to Kendra and John quickly, which hopefully we can do right after the meeting.
That's fine.
From a variance, question I had. So they will be looking, and the way my report is drafted, I said, okay, you got a couple things to supply, but if you supply them by March 27th, I'll see if the board would be willing to put you on for April. Now, that was before tonight. So that's why I wanted to make
Yes,
this,
so that's gonna put, you guys need to answer that, because that will put you behind the 8 ball.
it's 2 weeks.
Yeah, because that's why we gave you, that's why we had that 21-day rule, so you guys would have basically you know,
Although
11
you wanna
days.
just say that,
Well,
we
it's
can
up, it's
just,
up to the board, but you guys, it doesn't impact me. Okay? It will impact them and subsequently it will impact you, because if you waive it from the get-go, then you put them under pressure to get the reports out. They might not get the reports out till the day before. Then you get the report the day before instead of, 10 days or a week before. So you guys gotta decide what you wanna do. It doesn't impact me at all.
there would be. The applicant has not seen even the draft report. I've been in little communication with the engineer. At this point, if you wanna just put the whole thing off till May, that's perfectly reasonable. They know I was gonna talk about it tonight. So that, if I had a vote, I'm.
Well, I mean,
They're asking you, they wanna know.
I know, and
Yeah.
I tell you, after tonight, I kind of have a feeling that we're
This is gonna.
It's not gonna be a
at least
short
2
meeting.
hours,
Right,
like,
exactly.
yeah.
Make it.
No, when that's why, when I heard they're coming back next
We might
month.
even need to come back again the next one.
Oh, don't say that.
I just said it.
so I guess the answer is, yeah, put them off.
No, the answer is, don't waive the time limitation.
No, well, that changes the whole complexion of the report. And again, and I actually have a draft here. I was gonna show you.
The
that.
only thing you have to
Yeah.
decide is whether or not you're gonna waive the 21-day rule or not.
No, the 21-day rule can stay perfectly in effect. And as it exists today, they're coming back in May.
Right.
And
Correct.
that puts them to the middle of April to get the revised plans.
Correct,
So,
right.
good.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? If not, then, with we need the motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Wait a minute.
You're making the motion to adjourn.
Can I get a comment on something else, not on this?
Sure.
Come on up, come on up.
That's why I really came here today.
If identify yourself again for the record, I'm not gonna swear you in, just,
No,
you're not
it's
testifying.
Tractor Lane, Greenwich, Texas. Now, I know you know there's a lot of excavation going on due to the heavy digging.
Comcast, you're speaking of, okay.
There hasn't been anything on the website advising
Right,
residents.
this one is to the town, this is the township committee, so direct your comments to the one township committee person.
Well, I know
Sitting-
Paul has brought it up in the township meeting, saying that residents have come to him saying, hey, I can't vote, but I found my front
Right,
yard.
but this is nothing the
But-
planning board can
But
do.
it's the land
Yeah,
use
but
of
not-
the township, and the residents are affected. So I just wanted to let you know that there hasn't been any notification, other than sometimes they put a thing in your door that kind of blows away. You don't see it till 4 days later. But
I could say that, I mean, they just did Kennedy Mills where I live, they're almost done that. And no, we didn't get any advance notification. On the other side, I'm amazed at how well they did it and how little disturbance there was.
Oh, you're lucked out then.
Because,
Because in front of my house, it was disgrace.
Really?
They're well aware of it. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
Then you consider
I
yourself
mean,
lucky.
believe me, because I'm the president of the homeowner association and I got calls and emails from everybody when the thing started, but it basically turned to, hey, they did a good job.
Good, well,
You know,
They just
except for
moved
one,
us up.
that's great.
except for one.
once it's going with color, that's Russia.
Yes.
Well, into it now.
It's really as part of the contract.
I just thought I'd bring it up that there was no notification.
But it is a township committee thing, but I do agree a little better job
There
in
should have been
notification
something on
could
the
have been.
website, telling people that, hey, you're gonna be digging in your front yard.
And just so you know, we've had numerous meetings with them. And they promised, and I've seen it done a little bit, to put the little flyer on the people's doorknobs. And also in addition, to attach a little note that would basically say, hey, it's the winter time, or well, this was, before. We will be disturbing some of the front, along the frontage of your property. We will be back in the spring to finish the restoration, because that was a lot of people's complaints that the way they left it was totally unsatisfactory, but that wasn't they didn't leave it for good. They were gonna, they're gonna come back.
So they're gonna come back and throw some seed and hay down.
Well, that we're gonna see, but they
I got
better.
sod in front of my house. There's 4 holes and they're sodded.
Oh, yeah.
Well, none of them got left.
Well, they killed up the sod.
I guess
they
maybe
put
they
the sod-
picked all the board bumpers. to
They
finish the job.
killed up the sod, and they put the sod there.
They have to actually excavate both sides of your driveway to go underneath. So that's a big part of the excavation.
So they're digging a hole about every 15 feet. Yeah.
Yeah, depends on where you're affected.
Right. All right. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
Yeah, we.
Second.
Joe and Mark, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
John, the-
Opposed? None, abstained, none. Okay, motion is, the meeting is adjourned.
Yeah, I got like.